Okay, we are live. Got to let it breathe just for a second. Let me bring on Facebook real quickly here. Don't worry, Zach will be on here shortly. Welcome in, everybody, to the Huddle Up Podcast. It's a rapid reaction halftime stream. I'm your host, Chad Jensen, and my partner in crime, Zack Kelberman, will be here momentarily. A little bit delayed. I don't know. I think he's having a technical issue, but halftime, our rapid reaction streams, we only have a brief window, 12 to 15 minutes top. So I'm jumping on it now. And your Denver Broncos, unfortunately, are trailing the Chargers at the half, 13-0. And, you know, it's one of these games where even in a worst case scenario, if everyone was doing their job and, you know, Drew Lock was executing and showing the consistency that his GM, his head coach, and his OC was calling for. Here comes Zach right now. This should be a 6-13 game right now. Should be 6-13. So, but it's you know, Broncos are sitting here with the goose egg. Here's Zach. Let me grab Zach. Here he is. Zach, the Broncos goose egg, Drew Lock interception, ill-advised. What's your gut reaction to the first half, and then we'll dive into the stream.
My gut reaction, Chad, is it's the same old from the Broncos. We wanted to see how they're going to follow up that Buffalo game. We thought they would bounce back. I predicted in my roundtable, the post on Friday, that it's going to be a sloppy game between both teams. And so far, it's kind of like that. You know, the Broncos are playing semi-decent defense, but not so much. The Broncos, the offense is slow to get going. They started to use KJ Hamler more, then he got concussed, and Locke played more hero ball. It's just more of the same, Chad. At this point, I'm just resigned myself to Vic Fangio's team taking on the complexity of him. And he's on the sideline no matter what, no matter good or bad, with the same stoic, passive nature, and the Broncos end up playing like that. I've been watching a ton of football today, yesterday, and I see teams and offenses and coaches around the NFL, and everyone is just more passionate, animated, more innovative, more creative, and the Broncos are just stuck in 2005 on all sides of the ball, in all venues. And I'm a little amped up, and I'm not necessarily because of this game, but it's just another drop in the bucket of what's been this season for Denver, where there's so much talent on this roster, and in certain situations, offense, special teams, Tom McMahon, why does he have a job still? It's every single week. It's just, for someone who preaches no death by inches, the Broncos constantly die by inches. And that's the bottom line.
Yep. It's always that inch-wide margin, maybe 2, maybe 3 inches. But, yeah, it's the close but no cigar. And, you know, you wanted to see Drew Lock answer the C-word bell, right? The consistency bell. Look, even if you don't score touchdowns, all right, just don't throw the pick. I'm telling you, you guys have heard me say this now many times on this podcast. Anytime Drew breaks the pocket, it's hold on for dear life. You don't know what is going to happen. And that's concerning. And hopefully that's something that could get coached out of him. But you got to wonder at what point, Zach, the coaches just lose patience with his inability to kind of recognize, look, was it really worth that? Again, thanks for the stars, Ian. Really appreciate you, my friend. You took 3 points off the board at worst. Well, we assume, right? Brandon McManus seems to be on one in a bad way. Jerry Jeudy's on one in a bad way. Brandon McManus, Drew Lock, one step forward. You orchestrate a phenomenal drive to open up the game, and then you throw the pick on third down to take points off the board. And then even Deshaun Hamilton, look, I know that last third down pass Drew had after the consecutive Jerry Jeudy drops is a little high to Deshaun Hamilton, but you're sitting there crediting Chris Harris for breaking up a pass that Deshaun Hamilton should have caught. Maybe you can't officially call that a drop because it was high, but when it hits you literally right dead in the hands, whether you're extended or not, you got to catch that.
Yeah, and that's been the case all season with pretty much every receiver not named Tim Patrick. And again, it's just the same old story by Denver. They're close but no cigar. They're making those mental mistakes, and it's really that death by inches. And again, for a coach, and you can – it's hard to blame Fangio for Drew Lock, Chad. He's not the one throwing the picks. He's not the one making the errant passes. But it just seems like, again, everyone on all sides of the ball, there's just none of that fight, none of that swagger, none of that passion. And you know what? Playoffs or not, this is a prideful opponent, a prideful game against a division rival. They have a chance to sweep them. They should be coming out with more force in this, Chad. They should be coming out playing a little more, I don't know, in tune. And it just seems like they can't string that together consecutively.
John, since we don't have a lot of time, let's grab the supers that are stacked up. We want to get to each and everybody. I know we got a super sticker from Stu Meat Really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. It's good to see you. It's going good. By the way, we hope everybody had a great Christmas, great holiday season up to this point. We'll talk more about that in the gut reaction after the game. We'll kind of let our hair down a little bit. But thank you, Stu Mead. It's good to see you, my friend. Let's see what else we got here, John. We've got Mike Evans. I'm going to grab this one. Good to see you, Mike. Hope you had a great Christmas. He says, pleased with Gordon's running. Our QB play is not meeting expectations. Thank you for bringing this up. Melvin Gordon had more rushing yards on Denver's opening drive today, Zach, than he did the entire first matchup with the Chargers in Week 8. As it stands right now, ya boy is sitting here with 55 yards on 8 carries. Like, he's playing extremely well, and he's well on pace for a 100-yard game.
Yeah, it's one of the few bright spots. And again, he's been fairly consistent. I mean, not necessarily explosive, but a guy you can count on for about 4.5 yards a carry. He falls forward. He runs pretty hard. And it's a revenge game for Melvin Gordon. So in a season of a lot of lows, a lot of pitfalls, especially on offense, Gordon has been the one fair constant. Wouldn't say $8 million worth, but close to it, I'd say.
He's looked pretty explosive today, and he's carried his fair share of the water the last few weeks. We got to tip our cap to him, but I'm still with you on that. Josh Johnson, good to see you, my friend. Thank you. He says, boring. I had more fun watching Kendall Hinton, sadly.
It is very boring.
I don't know, man. It's just I wrote about this in a comment on the open thread. And by the way, guys, when we end this stream, head to milehighhuddle.com, jump into the open thread. Conversation will continue. We want your takes. We want your opinions. But I said in that thread that, it's watching Drew Lock and really the entire Broncos team. But I'm going to keep it on the offense for this point here, Zach, that every step forward, like every inch they get, every yard they gain offensively, it is so dearly bought. Like, there is no easy money out there for the Broncos offense. And I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying about kind of being stuck in a previous decade. You just lack the juice, you lack the innovation, you lack the design, and then, of course, you lack the execution.
It's a really interesting point you just made, because it took me back to my former life, watching the Jets, and I had the same kind of thought, Chad. Every single yard was so hard fought, and it was so paramount to get every single yard, every single point. And you watch teams like even the Bears today put up a 40-burger on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they might be the Jaguars, but it's still an NFL defense. And you look at the Broncos, and they rarely have the downfield splash plays. They rarely have any splash plays at all. It's sad when they open a game with the pass to Jerry Jeudy, and we're all surprised because they're using their number one receiver, their number one draft pick. It's just funny to me how everything they do, no matter if they run the ball, pass the ball, it doesn't seem easy. It doesn't seem well-oiled. It seems like it's very hard fought, and none of it ever breaks for a long game. None of it ever translates to touchdowns. It's the same old story every single week. It's insanity.
Thank you, Kenneth, for the super chat, my friend. Hope you had a great Christmas. No, I don't think Judy's turning into Darius Watts, but I do think, and for those of you who are going, Darius Watts, he was the Broncos' second-round pick, I want to say 07, 06, 07. I think it was 07. And he just, nothing ever came of it. But, I think the one thing that this broadcast has done a good job of illustrating is that Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy, they got a lot of work to do. Like, if the Broncos do end up sticking with Drew as the understood quarterback in 2021, man, these two got to find a way to get on the same page, because Jeudy does have the talent. But again, it's that everything is so dearly bought, right? There's no easy money out there. And yet these two really are talented players. It should be easier than what we're seeing out there. But I don't worry quite yet at all about Jeudy flaming or busting out. But these drops, they're absolutely unacceptable. And honestly, it's very atypical of a Zach Azzanni coached wide receiver. Usually Zach Azzanni's guys have been studs. They outkick their coverage. They overachieve. We're not seeing that from Jeudy this year.
Yeah, we're not. But you know what? He's still a very talented prospect. There's a reason why he was the 15th overall pick. And I happen to think in a more well-oiled offense, one that, gets those big plays, one that's better coached, one that's better quarterback, to be fair, because the quarterbacking nor the coaching has been up to par. If he was used correctly, same with KJ Hamler, he would be explosive. You put him on the, go down the list again. You put him on the Chiefs. You put him on the Packers. This is a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Even someone like Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, you put him in Minnesota with Gary Kubiak. I guarantee you Jerry Jeudy is more explosive. It's just how they've used him. No, the drops haven't helped, but when he's getting 2-3 targets a game, What can he do about that? That's on the quarterbacking and the coaching. And that's why when he vented and went off on social media, I kind of understood it. It's just frustration.
All right, we really got to rapid fire these. Our stream will probably go a little bit into the third quarter here, John, but let's grab Mike and then Kev and then Naj. Mike, thank you, my friend. It's good to see you. He says, I know it won't happen, but what's your opinion on the Broncos hiring the Bills offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, to replace Fangio? It's not going to happen, my friend. I mean, in a perfect world, it's an interesting idea. But Zach, you had the report today. We'll keep it short, but they're not moving on from Fangio.
No, I mean, to keep it short, he's returning for 2021. Multiple people confirmed today. And that was always Chad. If you watch the podcast, the Huddle Up podcast the last year, you would know Fangio was always getting 21. And the injuries to Von Miller and Cortland Sutton just exacerbated that. So, yes, Fangio is coming back as the Broncos head coach next season.
Big Kev, good to see you, my friend. He says, if Judy goes to Twitter again, I will scream. I hope he gets 0 targets for the rest of the year. Here's what if Judy does go to Twitter, Zach, after this game, even if he has a huge second half, all right, but that's a big if. His tweet needs to be, my drops are unacceptable. I'm better than this. I promise I'm going to make it up to my teammates. I'm going to make it up to the fans. My bad. That's the only thing he should say.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be so petty where I purposely ignore him and stunt his development because he's going on Twitter. How many players do that? I mean, he needs to kind of keep a lower profile. He needs to catch the passes that come his way, but I'm still going to try to pepper him with targets and kind of move his progression forward, regardless of what he says on Twitter.
Yeah, you can't give up on him. The dude's a first-round talent. He is a stud. You just got to try and massage him through this. Naj, good to see you, my friend. Hope you had some happy holidays. He says, absolutely disgusting, brothers. A reflection of the leadership. Undisciplined, uninspired. Another game opening with a terrible special teams play. True. Sadly, I don't see this changing under Fangio and his staff. We don't, it's hard to say, my friend, but I'll tell you what, Zach, the only silver lining fans can really hope for, I think, if they do indeed stick with Pat Shurmur under Fangio, is that those additional reps, he'll finally be able to get everything installed the way he wants. And then from there with Locke, if it ends up being still Locke, there's no excuses from there.
I mean, things might stay the same, but we know that his coaching staff, now that we know he's coming back, that's not going to stay the same. He has to fire Tom McMahon. I think Shurmur will get another year, but he will make some tweaks to that staff. You can argue whether nothing will change in terms of how uninspired the Broncos come out every single week in their game planning. That falls on Fangio, but special teams, look for McMahon to be pink-slipped rightfully on January 4th.
David Kilgore, it's good to see you, my friend, as the third quarter is about to kick here. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, my friend. He says, what do you guys think about the article calling for Elway to get Mariota? Zach, you had the nice report on that for us from the mothership, Connor Orr, the National. It was very disjointed. It doesn't make a lot of sense because Connor Orr was calling for the Broncos to sign Marcus Mariota, and he's under contract next year for the Raiders, even if you were on board with the idea of bringing in Mariota, which I am not.
Well, I mean, they have an opt-out in his contract, so they can make him a free agent. The Broncos could trade for him. But, yeah, I mean, his whole Connor Orr's thing was the way to fix the Broncos is to get someone that can press Drew Lock, and that would be Marcus Mariota in a competition with Lock. I don't see him being the answer, and I don't see Elway going that route, Chad, for a veteran guy. I think he'll stick the young route with either Drew Lock or a rookie quarterback.
Devin Martinez, good to see you, my friend. We don't recognize your name on Super Chat, so thanks. Welcome. Stick around. We appreciate you. He says, my ability to care is gone. Apathy has taken me.
Yeah, you and the Broncos, Devin.
That's the way it feels, man. And that's the way it is, especially when there are no stakes and it's a glorified exhibition game because you're sitting here at 5-9 with 2 games left to go. This is, one of 2 games left to go. Alvin, good to see you, my friend. Really appreciate that generosity. Hope you had happy holidays too. Alvin says, Gordon's showing up. Drew decided to throw a pass on a short field interception. Dumb. Go Denver. I know, dude. It's just, again, Zach, it's the 1 step forward, 2 steps back. He orchestrates a really impressive, solid opening drive and then throws the pick.
And then another pass goes right through Jerry Jeudy's hands, right as we talk about that. So, it's not a good game for number 10.
Judas Priest. All right, John, where are we at here? Since the game is back on, let's try and mosey through. Stu Meat, bye-bye to you. Thanks for the super chat, or the super sticker, my friend. I'm also going to grab Base Gaze here, who says, players look mentally checked out. I'm feeling nervous when we inevitably run it back in 2021. My hot take is Fangio is fired mid-season 2021.
Maybe.
Could shake out that way. I mean, there will be no excuses for anybody in that building in 2021 if things don't go as planned. You'll see a lot of heads roll, including the man at the very top, in all likelihood. Because, Zach, even if there is no ownership shift, how many more years can Joe Wellis? Look, it was great. Elway brought home the third Lombardi trophy as a GM and all that, but how many years can you go of losing before you finally just say, look, John, what do you want me to do here? My hands are tied. I got to cut bait, but that's still in the future, and there's still time to turn it around.
I mean, they haven't fired a coach mid-season or during the season since Josh McDaniels, and I think Fangio could be that guy. If he's getting 21, but they come out next year, they go 1-3, 0-4, 0-5, and they just look despondent like they do now. I can see him getting pink slipped sometime before next season ends.
The Queen jumping in. Good to see you. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Christy says, love my team no matter what. We feel you on that. Whoops, BG. Looks like the same to look forward to next season. I don't see this getting better. And yes, I never liked Judy's personality. I still don't. Yeah, we feel you on the personality side, and that has kind of come out of the woodwork. Oh, that was a nice. Was that a catch on the sideline, Timmy P? I can't tell because I got the volume off.
I think it was incomplete. Anyway, the Judy caught one the next play.
All right. But gang, as we are about to roll out here, let me just make sure we haven't dropped or missed anybody at the end. I want to remind everyone that
Deontay Spencer getting some offensive burn.
Action.
Wow, yeah, caught a pass out of the backfield, Chad. Innovation.
Guys, we'll be back immediately following the game with the gut reaction. You all know this. We can't wait to see each and every one of you there. We won't be rushed. We'll be able to let our hair down. Oh, Jude, and it wasn't even a very good pass on that case, Zach, that he kind of caught it behind him, the Judy one. Yeah. All right, dude, you're in a groove. Let's go. Let's build on that. I'm obviously behind you by a couple plays for whatever it's worth. But all right, guys, we got to go. So thanks to each and every one of you. We love you. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope your holiday season has just been phenomenal. You've helped to make our holiday season unbelievable. So thanks to each and every one of you. Subscribe, like the video, gang, before you dip on out. And then we'll see you back here immediately following the game for the gut reaction. And if you are interested in keeping the conversation going between now and then, head on over to milehighhuddle.com right now. Hop into the game thread. Share your takes. We want to hear your opinions on these topics as we grind through the second half of Broncos-Chargers. Zach, we'll see how it shakes out, but we'll catch you on the other side for the gut reaction.
Yeah, the Broncos are past midfield. They're moving. They need a touchdown here so bad to keep it and keep this a game, but doesn't look like it. Lock incomplete. We'll see what happens, Chad. Win or lose, we'll be back and talk more Broncos. So looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate you. Superstars. Love you. We'll see you all after the game. For Zack Kelberman, I'm Chad Jensen. See you then.